Hello and welcome to Desert Rat Fiber Arts. I'm Desert Rat, but you can call me Lloyd. Okay, this is part 3 of rescuing an abandoned crazy quilt top, and the piecing is done. So let me go ahead and show you real quick. I'm just going to unload part of it here so that you can see it. I decided against using the brown and yellow that was the original borders and sashing and cornerstones in it, because there wouldn't have been enough to go around the outsides. I want to try to use it all, but I'm not going to use it in the way I was originally intending, because I was going to do like the black and then a row of the yellow, a row of the brown, and another row of black to make a wider border. But I would have had to take the existing yellow and brown that I have and split it lengthwise. And those strips are only 2.5 inches wide to begin with, so that'd be 1.25 inches. And then after it's sewn in, that would leave us with like a 3/4 of an inch border for each color. And I thought that was not a good idea. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to make it into a scrappy binding for this quilt to finish that up. So there's the quilt top. And I apologize if it's noisy out. It's got some weather going on here. This is the backing I decided to use for it. I know it's going to be a little bit different because, well, it's a lot brighter than this, but I thought it would go well with it. This is an old sheet, top sheet, that I found at Goodwill. It was like $4.50 or $5.50, something like that. It was inexpensive. I was looking at buying a new sheet for it, but they're like $25 just for a top sheet instead of, $5 at a Goodwill for that. So that's what I'm going to be using. Now, I didn't realize at the time, and I should have looked at the labels first. This is 65% polyester and 35% cotton. So compared to the quilt top, well, there's probably a bunch of polyester in this quilt top too. But usually you want to try to go with all cotton, at least. That's kind of what I've been doing. I know people say use whatever you have, and so that's what we're going to do. For the batting, we're going to be using the Pelon natural cotton batting that I got at Walmart. This is twin size 72 by 90. This is actually a decent batting. I've used it in a couple other projects, so and it's very inexpensive compared to some of the other ones that you're going to find out there. This was like, at my local Walmart, it was like $15.99 for a twin size batting. That same in the quilt shop is probably $25-$30, so about half the price, and it's still a good batting that's going to work, and Pelon's a well-known brand. So I'm going to try to get this loaded up here on my long arm. I'm probably not going to start doing any quilting on it right now, but I do want to at least get the backing on to the long arm, and then see about getting the top on there, and then we'll load in the batting in our quilt sandwich to end it up. I've already got my machine threaded here. I'm using a glide thread in like a dove gray. I figured that will work. I usually always use gray thread in all of my piecing. It's just because it goes with everything. So you don't need to worry about, oh, do I have the right color yellow, or do I have the right color brown, or whatever. If you use gray, most of the time you're not going to see it. Especially, in the piecing, you're not going to see it anyways because it's behind it. So, but I just figured that would be a nice neutral color. Yeah, it's going to show up on the black on the sashing, but I'm okay with that. So let me get this thing loaded. I'm going to try to take you along on this. I don't know how well I'll be able to do it. This garage, unfortunately, is kind of messy, and I can't move the camera over here where I'd like it to be so that you could see me loading this thing a little bit better. But we're going to do the best we can for you. So hang on. I'm going to start loading this quilt onto my frame. Okay, we got the backing on the frame as well as the quilt top and our batting. What's next is I'm going to change out to the glide foot. I got this because, well, let me just show it to you real quick. Let me see if I can get it out of the package. There we go. And it's kind of this bowl-shaped foot, so it should glide over the fabric. So any areas where we have this applique work where it's not inside, the seams aren't on the other side, it should just go over them with no issues. Any areas like that, or these areas here, like where I've got this bit of fullness here where we've got essentially a ruffle in the fabric, it should go over that with no issues. So I'm going to go ahead and swap out the glide foot. I'm probably going to put a new needle on the machine too. Figure that out. I do have the correct needles that for the machine, so they're not standard, the ones that you would use for your regular machine. They are type 134s, and I think I have size 16. What do I have here? These are the needles here. Then these are a size 16. I think I got a package of, what's this one here? I think these are 18, so I might use the 18 in there since it's a little bit thicker. Just because of the areas where we have a lot to bulk in here, where there's seams upon seams. So I might probably use the 18 on there, and should work fine with the glide thread that I have. Yeah, so next thing I have to do is I've got to, again, swap out the needle, swap out the foot. I'm going to put a plumb line in here, make sure my quilt top is lined up, and then we're going to start basting it down, and then we're going to just probably do some meandering on here, some pre-motion quilting for this, and that should be what we need to do with the quilting part. And then all that's left is our binding. So I should work on getting the binding ready to go. The quilting might take a little while. I'm going to try to film that for you, at least some of it, for the next video. So until next time, this is Desert Rat. Happy crafting.